The alchemical wedding is the sacred union of opposites, the merging of the masculine and feminine principles within the soul. This mystical process symbolizes the complete transformation of the initiate, where the lead of ignorance is transmuted into the gold of divine wisdom. As the soul progresses through the stages of purification, it sheds its earthly bonds and attains the state of the philosopher's stone, achieving immortality and oneness with the divine.
Woo! What a morning. What an AM over here. I'm getting my little coffee cup. Well, it's not coffee. Not coffee. I haven't been drinking coffee. But it's been a nice morning. And first, as soon as I was about to get on this call, my daughter Presley, who lives down in South Florida, called me. And so I answered her call. I had to. I always answer if she calls, of course. We live long distance. We haven't been together in quite some time. And I'm just jumping right in there. I feel like there's some friends that come in and hang out, and I like to just share my stories and life and weave in the gene keys and human design and the galactic Maya. Today's the galactic eagle, by the way. So, but yeah, so my daughter calls me. So galactic eagle, higher vision, right? And she calls me right as this call's about to start, which would be 10:44 her time. And she's going to a concert with her friends and going to the mall today. And yeah, I was talking with Marcus before I got on here about it's challenging. I don't want to say it's challenging. I feel like I have an ability to neutrally observe everything as a collective situation. But my daughter is presenting to me, at 15 years old in South Florida, going to a concert, and I'm thinking about the things that can happen at places like that, as we all would, right? And yeah, just thinking of all of it, the Epstein stuff, the drugs, the concerts, the pictures, like what kids are doing at those ages, the handlers, taking children to parties. I mean, I say child, she's 15. But yeah, so I was just talking through all of that with Marcus before I got on here. And I should have just been on live the whole time, because I like to be just raw, real, authentic. And on this path of devotion, which I've been on for about 7 years, it's actually been a 7-year cycle since I left my children's father, since we went through a divorce. And they stayed here, and we moved to Costa Rica. I met a new person on the devotional path. A total shock to me, like nothing I would ever expect. I don't know, I shared the story because sometimes I get judged the fuck out of for it. And I know that, it was like an eat, pray, love, but without intending to do so. That's the path I was called into. It was like a timeline of near-death experience, sell everything, dematerialize, starting to become a new person, move to a new country with my family, and then, yeah, a whole swirl of a new paradigm came into my life, a whole perspective of awareness, a new set of dimensions and possibilities in my reality came into view. it's like I didn't know I had a limited spectrum, but I did because I was expanded when I landed into this new storyline. And so on that path, eventually I go through a divorce with my husband, who I love very much. We were together for 14 years. But the near death experience had really accelerated my perception of reality and my growth. And I was changing at a very fast rate. And it wasn't so easy um, to stay in one place, to stay as I was. It was like a very rapid butterfly journey, like a cocoon to a butterfly, and just a massive shift that I don't think I've ever really stopped to feel or talk about, actually. And mainly maybe because I know there's a lot of judgment. I feel like I've healed myself of my own judgment for not being with my children full time or at all, to be really honest. I haven't seen them in 3 years. And yeah, it's not a story that I've kept hidden. It's it's just where I'm at. It's like I see and understand that I was being initiated on a mission, is the best way that I can describe it, with a much deeper understanding, gaining a deeper understanding in these systems of our reality. You could call it a matrix if you want. I used to work for Dell for 7 years. I was like right down in it, building AI before I knew what AI was, having no idea what the tech would be used for. Fast forward to now, I started at Dell in 2005, so 21 years ago. And yeah, you want to believe like technology is being used to advance civilization, it's being used for good purposes, and like it's being used to connect people together and keep everybody connected. But it's also a bioweapon. I don't take it lightly when I say that. This current technology, and I understand that there's always going to be defense on this topic because everyone has attachment to technology. And I call this basic technology anyways. By the way, I'm from the future. I was catapulted into a new paradigm after my near death experience. And it was like I was really sped up into the future of no time and a deeper understanding of time travel, quantum mechanics, the mathematics of our universe. And so it's almost like I'm coming back to earth a little bit. I'm landing back and I'm realizing like, wow, this technology is moving fast. This technology is monetizing your addiction. You're getting paid to remain addicted. You're getting paid to prostitute your energy. All the while, like you can't complain about the idea of water shortages and power plants if you're fueling the machine, which we all are. And then what is that machine being used for? Life force energy. And then when you break that down, there's a lot of interest in those lower nature desires, sex and food seem to be pretty hot topics, and politics, all the lower chakra dimensions, basically. Yeah. So, anyways, I was just feeling all of that, knowing like my beautiful daughter is going to this concert and she's going to the mall. And I was talking to someone not so long ago and she told me she was recruited at a mall when she was 16. And I wondered how many other people this had happened to, where like she was at the mall with her mom, and then this man came up, or maybe this woman. They seem to like to start with the women before they introduce them to the men, the way. And so anyway, she was approached as a teenager in the mall saying, "Oh, your daughter's beautiful and she could be a model." And then they're invited to do some international travel, And who knows what goes on from there, because the predators are waiting. So that's the real deal. You know, when people talk about sex trafficking, it's happening on all levels. These are things I looked away from for a long time, while I was climbing up the ladder to heaven. And I was really in, you could say, a state of spiritual bypassing, or pretending like things weren't going on, or like looking away, and like believing like I just have to hold the heaven on earth field and the rest will work itself out. And that works for a minute, you know, to achieve that mathematical configuration, that energetic vibration. And then, but the ability to bring that energetic vibration down, and also to be able to become witness and aware of what's going on out there. And there's no better way to do that than to have my own daughter reporting back to me, you know? And so I have my judgments about, like, if I was living with my daughter, if I was at home with my daughter, she wouldn't be doing these things, you know, or whatever. I don't even want to say she's necessarily doing anything bad. In one beautiful way, she tells me everything, or so I think. I'm sure there's some things that she doesn't tell me. But I mean, this is just a question to everyone out there that has children, young or old. Did you really know what was going on with your children? Did it make a difference if you were there or not? Is it possible that you think your child's an angel, but they're but they're not? You know, is it possible that your children are being preyed on by technology in their own rooms, and you might not know it? Or maybe you do know it, but you don't know what to do about it. You know, the other day I was on with my daughter, Presley, and she was telling me, she told me everyone is being monetized on TikTok. And she's under 18. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to, but that's what's going on here. And yeah, she's probably making like $1,000 every 3 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you putting out there, Presley? And she's like, I just do normal, like, jokey videos. It's nothing bad. That's what she says. I still haven't seen it. I don't have TikTok. But then she told me that there was a man that started following her or posting things, and his account said little ones. And all of his collection of pictures were like of like 6 and 7-year-old girls in bikinis. And Presley said that she got on a live and talked about it, actually, and was so disgusted by this. And then she also said that he had messaged her privately and she was cussing him out, or whatever she said. So I told her, well, I mean, she told me what's kind of going on out there. And I was really thinking about how, like, I'm all about not putting fear into the system, but I'm also like, it's okay to be real, right? And I wonder, like, what the fuck and who the fuck is talking to you and your kids online? You know, I had a friend in Texas message me, and she had looked on her son's iPad, and he had been a part of some kind of like sci-fi application app or whatever, and it was like, you know, fantasy love with these characters, like these cosmic characters, like, and men on men and different things like that. And he's like 8 or 9. And so I guess I'm just getting real about a topic that we shouldn't look away from, that the predators are all around, and they're especially on the technology. Hola, sister. So yeah, just like feeling all of that, feeling what's really going on in the technological world, feeling like I'm just in my own deep contemplation about, like, for a while I had no technology. I had no phone. There was a time I went 2 months with nothing, no phone, no tech, no iPad. I haven't had a phone number in years. I don't have a WhatsApp on purpose. I don't want any extra applications of constant contact. We need to break the field, as much as we can and connect with nature as much as we can. And also, like, it helps for me to be so far away from it so I can talk about it, because it's probably not as easy to talk about when you're around everybody that's all addicted to it. So they're always going to defend it. Everyone's always going to defend their technology use. It's just how the game is played. That's how deeply entrenched it is in the system. You think you need a microchip. No, the chip is in your hand. You willingly consent. I'm doing it myself. Before my friend gave me this nicer phone, and I see that it's for good things too. I mean, I don't know, maybe if one person receives something from this message, I'm using this for a good purpose. But yeah, implants are real, and they don't need to be surgically input. Everything is energy. So technically, your technology represents an implant, whether that be good or bad, or right or wrong, or none of it. I've noticed I've started to observe things like that when people come into the field, and first of all, not many people come into the field with a lot of technology, but when they do, I'm like, oh, these are their implants. The computers, the phones, the tech, the iPads. It's like, oh, they have 5 phones for all of their Bitcoin trades. Oh, those are their implants. Like siphoning energy. And so I don't want to lose our connection with organic technology, with ourselves. Like, sometimes we become dependent on the tech to bring us something versus realizing like we're the tech. And I mean, there's nothing that's sitting out in nature and getting in that sun or jumping in the water can't recalibrate. And we need to remember these age-old remedies for energy healing, actually, because I'm also like, I've been meeting, a lot of my friends are working with like plasma and energy technologies, and I'm not saying, I can understand we're at an age where people are starting to become more open to energy healing in these ways and becoming more aware about energy as a healer and sound and vibration. Like, it's been in my world for so long, I forget that it's still a new topic out there, but it's getting out there, right? But even with, like, one friend showed me this one of her parasites on an energetic level, and you cast out the parasites with these metal rods. It's cool. But also, I'm like, the real functionality here, and I guess the integration, is if you keep feeding the parasites, they'll come back. So even if you use a little machine zapper, if you go right back to the same pattern, if you go right back to the same habit, you continually reinforce. Like, there's always going to be a time for the healing of the wound from the time you cast out a demon. Okay, this is just one context that I use because I've experienced it directly and when I did that with someone at their request. That's what I've learned too, is you can't cast a demon out of someone that doesn't want it out of them. You can't just do it on your own. Like, yeah, they have to they want it removed, they want it delivered, they identified that it's there, and they don't want to play with this game anymore. But then even once it's extracted, even once the implant or the parasite is removed, there is that time for the sealing or the healing that has to take place, which is when you really have to work your flex. When you quit something or when you change something and you don't want to go back to the same thing. So you'll be tested a few times to reinforce the new wave, reinforce the new pathway, not going back to the old way. But it's your job as the warrior of light to kind of like be called by the temptation, you might say, of the previous version. But you're like, no, up, no, out. I'm almost bringing this into like a game energetically, because we are working with neural pathways and electromagnetic frequencies and plasma, where we are always energy before we are story. Stories limit the energy, identities limit the energy. It doesn't mean that we don't occasionally have one. It's just important to Pay attention to the stories that you tell, that you repeat, that you believe, because they are basically creating a structure, finite structure. It is like plasma mechanics. Oh, it is not. Oh, thank you. It's Eduardo's birthday today, and he's serving me a banana smoothie. One of my favorite things, so sweet. So sweet, simple, and easy.
Oh,
Later. Thank you. You know, we've still been working on like really eating more clean, fresh, raw. We eat what?
Organic bananas.
Organic bananas, yeah. Papayas and citrus. Just like really getting real with ourselves about what our hunger and desires are about. You know, it's like, it's challenging when you can know kind of the stories of like the Essenes and the Cathars and the ideas of fastings and even the idea of like a Hyperborean race, like even an idea of a race before food. And I'm not talking about breatharians with a practice where you got to do things to still maintain your body. I'm just talking about like, we're just much more etheric. You know, we're much more energy than we understand, but we want to believe so hard in the hardness. It's really something, we're here to lighten up and really here to understand the energy field and our vibration and our emotion and the stories and anything that contains. There are containers that are very held and liberating, and then there are containers that are very constrictive, repressive, restrictive. So I'm not saying all containers are bad, even though I'm all about like totally boundless, like just zero containers. But like example, this is a container, you know, 10:44 Eastern on a Friday, whatever. Anyway, so we're working with containers. Yeah, pay attention in your life to any containers that you're in that are feeling restrictive for you on an energy level. And also that translates to your physical environment. Being more outside, being more in the open, building your body of light. We're actually working with magnetism and the power of our aura, and our aura can span an entire planet. That's something deep to remember. I was reading the 15. Technically, we're on the 29 right now, but I talked about the 29 on Monday, and today just seems to be more of like, I speak from a place that is the result of 7 years of devotion and divine love, and really just becoming aware of what's happening on a planetary level as a guardian, as a mother, as a dragon, and yeah, utilizing my direct personal experiences with. So far, I don't know what to physically, materially do about the things that are taking place on the planet. All I know is that holding a frequency is one of the greatest gifts that we all have. You know, being able to be able to diffuse the bomb or become the eye in the midst of the storm, in the midst of a planetary war. Gene Key 52 speaks a bit about this as well, in the stillness. It's actually transcending the oscillating wave. You're really becoming a complete still point. You're not really fluctuating. You're not really hit by the material waves. You're like standing bear, standing rock, like pillar of light. We're called to learn how to hold that level of stability. And I know we're all designed a little different too, but I believe this is standard mechanics. But I do think of Gene Key 52 and the 9. And I'm also thinking of gate 34, gene key 34. I'm talking a little bit number right now. Some of you that know gene keys will pick up what I'm putting down, and then also just to help you see this new language, this new context of working with genetics and working with numerical codes and working more on the inner world than the outer world. 52 is the number of Sirius B52. Transcending the oscillating wave is the stillness at the Siddhic level. This is my North Node. This is basically like, this has been one of my jobs on the planet. It's from the shadow of stress, right? To the gift of restraint, to the city of stillness. And so stress is kind of like one of the number one things on our planet right now. Which a lot of that stress has to do with time, for sure. Time waves are such a big hijack, but I understand it's like we're born into the time construct, and then we start living in the works construct, and you're just, you're clocked. You're locked in the clock. And then you always feel like you gotta go, and you're running out of time, and like a lot of your awareness around time. This is why I believe in occasional use of psychedelics to help people break through the construct of time, because I can tell you, like, time is an illusion, time is an illusion, time is an illusion. But until you've actually sat in a space where you actually feel that to be true, it doesn't mean you might not go back into your time construct of illusion, but you now understand that there are other spaces where time is more fluid, where you're not controlled by time. And that's the ultimate prophecy of the galactic Mayas, moving from time is money, the time is money dimension, where it's all about working to make money, versus time is art, which is the unfolding of the artist within each of us when we're able to operate at that artist type of frequency. There's a prayer I have, or an idea, a vision called the Da Vinci Code, where could you imagine what it would be like in a world where everybody had what they needed in order to become the true artists that they were meant to become. And so, okay, Gene Key 52, this gift has a huge impact on the emotional body. It communicates and exudes calmness throughout the aura. There have always been people in the world who remain completely unflustered by external crises, such as emotional turmoil or human conflict and war. There have always been such people among us, and these are the people of the 52nd gift. Wow, and I'm like, just as I see that explained and understanding, this is a North Node for me, this is a serious 4th house for me, my home. It is, the ability to be able to hold the peace and the calm and the stillness in the middle of anything. And at the Siddhic frequency, it is about moving beyond the oscillating wave. And then the oscillating wave, you could say, it does have like a little bit of an up and a down. It's a movement, it's a microwave, but when you go into the stillness, you're in what I would call the 0-point field. So you're able to observe and witness and handle anything without it pulling you any which way. You're objectively, transpersonally witnessing, digesting, observing the reality. And so the 52nd key has the ability to still the wave. And as many people as are holding it are kind of creating pillars of light across the planet. Now, I call Costa Rica the galactic 0 point. I really feel like it's the station for holding the 0 point collapsing of fields. But this is something really just to be able to do within your own self, to be able to go inside, to be able to still the wave, to not be pulled in by the emotion, to really like get real with yourself. What is this emotion? Where does this come from? How many more years am I going to say the same story and perpetuate this when I know there are other fields of energy I have access and availability to? But in order to access those fields, I need to rewrite some stories. I need to rewrite some codes. I've got to stop playing. I've got to stop these patterns and behaviors and habits because I'm playing out the same story. These are mechanics, these are mechanics of a wave. These are mechanics of how to operate frequency, how to observe and become aware and the witness of your emotions, and how to be able to really also ask yourself, like, there's a level of discipline on the spiritual path. This isn't just a game. It's a game, and it's not a game. It's like, we have to get real about the patterns that we repeat and have the ability to rewrite the code, to change the code. If you don't learn how to play your character, technology will play it for you. And they know how to affect your emotions and your energy and your desires, unless you're really cloaked, which I would say is a level of purification. Being in a level of purification where I would call it astral hygiene. Naturally, when you're holding that field, what you're paying attention to out there, it's not, number one, is important, and number two, it changes, it lightens up. Like, I'm not watching videos about war right now. I might watch a video about some clean raw foods that look delicious, because we have that power. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying pretend there's not a war out there. I know very well that there's a war, and I know that this is one of the ways to stabilize a planet. It's this day today, this day of honey.
What's this thing?
Oh, it says Feliz Cumpleaños. It's for Papa.
And the bee.
Yeah, it's the bee on it. The bee in the beehive. Feliz on the bottom, Cumpleaños. Yeah, so I've been on this devoted path with Eduardo for over 7 years now. We both carry Gene Key 29, which is what we set this call with me about. And it's really been a path of devotion and moving into the transformation of the emotional body, the purification of the lower bodies, devoted love, devoted passion, devoted ecstasy. Really just allowing the fire of two hearts to come together. And, in the surrender to that, my awareness expanded, my awareness of what was happening in real world events, galactic histories, the education systems, the government systems, the monetary systems, the medical systems. It's been really a path of almost like rebellion and research, an absolute total rebellion for me of like leaving all systems behind. And then researching like who is what and what is the root of this awareness. And yeah, maybe I think a lot of us when we're initiated on the awakened path, you start doing research and looking at things, and sometimes it's not like some of the things I research have any one final end. My main job is working with the frequency fields and perceiving these new dimensions and the stillness and collapsing fields, and working with timelines and timeline creation and polarity integration, and working with the sacred lands and the sacred waters, working with grid lines. Remembering levels of awareness that were almost lost from our planet. And many of us are coming together with our awareness and remembering together, and it's really affirming. It's beautiful, the reunions that are coming from just the remembrance. And so the more we come out and talk about the truth of who we are, where we come from, what we're connected to, without getting caught up in self-identity, because that's just another trick and a trap, we can start to put together like, we are not anything less than a guardian of this universe, of this planet. We're not waiting for the celestial beings to arrive. We're waiting for us to become them. See, I just went straight to the mothership and then brought the ship down in my body. So I'm not waiting for more ships to come, except all of my brothers and sisters that are their own mothership. Fathership, Starship Command. So that's the next level beyond the fantasy of the Star Wars we're really in, is like, you know, waiting for the ones to come versus being the ones. And so I see what many of my fellow star being brothers and sisters are doing, just living on the lands and moving forward and breaking through the systems, and also just understanding the poverty that's taking place on the planet, understanding the land takeovers that are taking place, and almost pure ownership and control, dominance. And it's nothing to look away from. And so I haven't been to the US in quite some time, but now my daughter, I think she's given me the message is clear, and it wasn't time until it was time to start this new cycle and enter back into the United States lands from a new perspective, no longer jaded by what's really going on there. Yeah, we're here to preserve the planet. We're here to preserve planet Earth. We're here to preserve the children, to protect the children. What's going on with the technology right now, and how they are just absolutely targeting each and every one of our children, not just mine, all of ours, whether you know it or not. It starts at a young age. It's starting in the schools. The children are absolutely being groomed and fed poisons. I've had to step far away to come into the realization that it's time to really talk about. It's not like it's a secret either, like we know, but sometimes you need to hear it again. There's something wrong with the education system. They don't have our children's best intent in mind. They're grooming these children, they're recording these children, they all have their own laptops, they're literally like watching and studying everything about them. And sometimes I know it's like, again, I know people are going to defend technology because it's so ingrained in their life. I'm not saying my ways for anyone or everyone. I guess I'm just sharing like the dance between these two worlds of organic, you know, it's just, I always say we're here to rewrite the fall of Atlantis. It's like right here is the rewrite of the fall of Atlantis. As we speak on this Galactic Eagle Day. And we have to say, like, what can you do about it? What can you create about it? How can we make art out of this truth? out of this eagle eye vision in the final wave of the star in the galactic Maya? How do you make art out of this vision, out of this understanding? We're starting to, just by having these transmissions and having these conversations, because it's not necessarily like it's just a warning, although awareness is so important. And awareness can start to strike up new ways of thinking and solutions. And like, I also trust that everyone has their path of Dharma, their path of learning. But I'm not giving up on anyone. I'm imagining that there are others out there that are starting to feel this shift. I was definitely on a front end of a wave, I'd say. I mean, this wave has been building for a long time. There've been like the fringe ones that were leading the way and like stepping out of everything. And I think there's a hunger for connection and community, but it's just like, it's that last hiccup of our own. I just read Gene Key 17, Sacred Seal 2. Sacred Seal 2 is one of the seals that really, we all have to move through the wound of denial. Healing of the wound of denial, and bringing before the self-delusion, the illusion, denial, individual viewprints that need to be right, pride, arrogance, anger. Okay. It's so beautiful. So my book has so much stuff in it. And I opened to this 29. And I have a bird wing in here. And then, but it gets crazier because I'm sure one of the cats had done something to the bird, and then I kept the wings. I love connecting with the birds and the wings. And that represents the Siddhic state, of course. And then I also have this book, Human Design Workbook. And I'd opened it to the 29. And there was a bird wing in this one too. And I was like, whoa, how would that be? I don't really use this book that much, but somehow I must have been reading it and a bird feather came into my... Yeah, so I'm going to read about the 29 to you all from this Human Design book, okay? In case you have the 29 or the 30. Gate 29, Perseverance. In the I Ching, it's called the Abysmal. The theme, you respond to committing to the right thing. Your perseverance and determination change the narrative of the world and show people what is possible. Your devotion sets the tone for the direction that life takes you. Now, this is so good. So this is my radiant sphere, what keeps me healthy. This is Eduardo's life's work, which is the sun calculation. These are tropical calculations. I'm not writing them out of the book yet. We are here to transition from the 12 to the 13, absolutely. Oh, you're singing so beautiful. Nice to see you here, Iceland. Okay, life lessons. So, okay, the first is the perseverance of the theme of committing to the right thing. Yes, baby? You need oh, you're gonna light that fire? It's the day of the happy birthday. Yeah, light the fire. Will you show on the camera the little white rabbit? Oh. And you were singing happy birthday. You want to sing it again? Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. But you can't just leave it. Okay, that's safe, I guess. I want to make sure. Okay. Gate 29, perseverance, the abysmal life lesson, commitment to the right things. Persevere and stay focused on putting your efforts towards what feels good, right, and aligns. When unbalanced, you might overcommit and burn out or fail to commit to what brings you the deepest joy. And so the contemplations with this energy are, what are you committed to? What actions do you need to take to reflect and deepen that commitment? What do you need to learn to say no to? What do you want to say yes to? The affirmation is, I carefully examine my actions and make sure that my commitments are in alignment with my intentions. I only say yes to the things I know will bring me closer to fulfilling my dreams, and I enter into my commitments according to my human design strategy. That was part of the affirmation. It's interesting. I never did practice too much with the human. I mean, the whole thing is an experiment. I really believe that human design and gene keys are galactic calculations, like that we designed this. It's just too mathematic. It's too synchronized. There's so much more that I could describe to explain what I mean between all of the systems of the mathematics. I understand there's an architecture, and we're in the unfolding of that understanding. And there's nothing that we have to understand actually about it, because we're surrendered to it and we're just watching it happen, right? But when you start to trust and understand that the rhythms of life, and that we're coming from the chaotic field to the cosmic order, this is where destiny starts to play out. Because it is written. So we're all surrendering to the highest timeline. We're surrendering to the prophetic story, the prophetic code of our incarnation. And so, yeah, for me with this 29, I've definitely been on the perseverance path of like devoted not just to my love and my partner, but devoted to paving the way into something new out of something. And, you know, I remember before I had my near death in Austin, things were coming up in my mind about like more simple living, tiny home in the forest kind of thing, like that kind of stuff had started to peek into my field. But then, yeah, that wasn't it either. And honestly, just the want for the end of war, the want before any of this last recent war stuff even happened, like a desire for the ending of war and conflict, the ending of destruction, the ending of poverty. I would say I've always had those types of cares in my heart, but didn't really know how to do it or what to do about it. And then, on this devotional path, it's like I've been put right in the very middle of these things to see them, to feel them, to understand how they work, to understand secret societies and family bloodlines and government operations and the things that really run our worlds or have been in the past. And so now we're just taking things back as the cosmic guardians of this planet. And we can see where the agendas lie. And we come to purify the lands and the minds of the people and share the message of truth as we extract this leech, vampire, parasitic energy, any of it that we are still connected to. This is the time of great purification. And from the future, it's already done. We know that. I've been living there. But what I'm understanding is that we have to bend time and space or bring things together or fill in the gaps. And it's a time of synergy and teamwork. I thought we'd just like blip right into the Siddhic frequencies on a whole planetary level, but no, there's like a process that we're all going through. And we all go through it together. Yesterday we were just on a call about Marcus was doing a call about the sacral or solar plexus. And so I read Sacred Seal 3, Gene Key 25, which is about healing the wound of shame, ending competition, changing the way we use money in the world, moving beyond the hierarchical forces, because there's no more competition, there's no lack of self-worth, so we can all come together at the table in equal measure. You know, the many courts, the many councils, with many ascended masters, with many mothers. Yeah, I always say Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. And Illuminati of the light, we come to make this right. Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. I'm going to share this tool with you. Oh, it's so beautiful, River. Thank you. I want to wear one of those in my hair. Wow, so we're working with the sound tools, and then River brought in these beautiful flowers. So beautiful. And then Eduardo's playing the Shruti box outside in the sun. Maybe I'm going to take you out there. It's his birthday. Oh, and here's our little altar over here. So many fresh flowers and copper and cool things. Harps, conch shells, airplanes. I went from thinking I'd never fly again to like really feeling like it's time to fly. So we'll see what's happening. Feathers. Mother Mary, the Sacred Crystal Heart, the Lady in Perspectives, Enoch, Bhagavad Gita, Prism of Lyra, Saint Benedict. Oh, and then I got my Merkaba hat. What else do we have going on? Oh, the Mother Mary, of course. Of course. Let's see what I wrote here. I choose life, and I am willing to be the guardian and protector of my sacred vessel as a piece of the sacred creator of all of life. I use my vessel in service of the divine plan, which serves the whole of humanity. I sing songs of light. There is no fear in this vessel, no fear of false laws, no fear of fake gods, no fear of disease, no fear of death. We remember we are the way, we are the truth, we are the light in service to all. We represent the highest order of pure light. We invite all that are willing to purify themselves to enter in and embody the essence of this pure light as the utmost service to God, Earth, Mother. May all who are willing release the levels of density they have so heavily carried to maintain the realms of the underworld. I release all gravity, I release all density, I release all wounding, I release all suffering from my existence. Yeah, that was just a little something I wrote one day in my little book. I did have a picture of my children that are in the US that I miss so freaking much. This is the Galactic Maya stuff that I study. This one's about Quetzalcoatl. Basically, the story of Quetzalcoatl being a manifestation of the same energy of the Christ, which is really just about like purifying the lower nature and bringing it up. There are many stories about the Quetzalcoatl, some say are dark, but I do have a teaching called Quetzalcoatl, the Return of Quetzalcoatl, and it has to do with merging the higher and the lower bodies. This is food of the gods. This is one of the chocolate mushrooms that we have here that somebody makes. It's like a chocolate bar, psilocybin. I don't know why I was showing you guys. There's nothing too fancy in here, I guess. I always have a lot of notes, notes and papers. Realize how your personal inner work can reach out and have a very real effect on many of the horrific global themes we see around today. So this is an old book of mine. This is an old notebook, probably from about 1.5 years ago. And I just opened it and it had kin number. We were at a place called the Home Farm. And it was kin 116 yellow crystal warrior, which I have 2 crystal warriors in my life right now. But anyway, so it's talking about, yeah, this is where the gene keys comes in to make global impact, because it says, realize how your personal inner work can reach out and have a very real effect on many of the horrific global themes we see around the world today. So the line 6 is the wound of indifference. Line 5, the wound of war. Line 4, the wound of poverty. Line 3, the wound of greed. Line 2, the wound of violence. And line 1, the wound of disease. So these are like the planetary wounds: disease, violence, greed, poverty, war, indifference. The human being contains the full spectrum of genetic possibility. Angels of the highest, purest light are all that are invited to this land. I made up that song. Angels of the highest, purest light are all that are invited to this land. Angels of the highest, purest light are all that are invited to this land. Angels of the highest, purest light are all that are invited to this land. Dragons restored. Bring all species together. Dragons restore. Create everything new. Creativity, deep creative beings, high celestial beings, create all things. Absolute, nothing keeping you from 5D and beyond frequencies, universal portal, DNA coding. Are you in the purity of heart? Heaven is at hand. DNA upgrades. Generate with heart generator tesseract. Create from the feeling of eternal ecstatic bliss. Quantum Phoenix, that's me. Tiamat, Venus, Star Riders, the world before the moon. Yeah. Generator, the heart generator, create from the feeling of eternal ecstatic bliss. That's actually how we create, by feeling that, and the physics of bliss, oops, my hand's there. The physics of bliss is who Dan Winters talks about, the physics of bliss. And yeah. When we get into the idea of the plasma and we think about electromagnetic fields, working with the heart generated energy, you can zap anything by moving into the heart. You know, even when something appears to throw you off or bring you down, you just practice bringing it right back up. This is the rewriting of your pathways, because in the old version of yourself from the victimization phase, you could like keep justifying in your mind why you want to feel, why you don't want to feel bliss. Yeah, we gotta stop resisting blissful realities, blissful technology, blissful feelings in our body, ecstatic feelings in our body, no matter what's going on. We're designed to get there. This is our birthright. This is us directly connected back to the source, to the womb of the mother, to feel that no matter what. That forces the field. This is the practice round that we've been in for sure. It's like, can you feel bliss when you don't have money for rent? You know, can you feel bliss when you don't know where you get your next fruits? Can you have that deep of a trust? Can you feel that? Can you feel the ability to be so held and so deeply connected to the origins of creation that you know you'll always have what you need when you need it? Ooh, talk about letting go of desires of what you think you want versus what you're being called into. You know, that's the fields that we've been dancing in, like full trust and surrender, full leap off of the edge, and trust. Talk about faith. Yeah. And yeah, just really paving the way on this path, and then also trying to hold a level of patience and understanding once again that it's already done and we came to do something. And then what does that look like as messengers, as guardians? And when do we come together? When do we come together for councils? When do we go to sacred sites together? I know some of that's already happening, but I'm talking about a core team. And then also, you know, how do we secure living on this planet? How do we live on a free planet without selling ourselves? You know, are some of the ways that we can start to frame and think about things. There's really enough to go around already. What more needs to happen for us to understand that there's enough to go around? What does it take on an energetic level, on a spiritual level? It's tricky, right? Because the Gnostics, they would say like, this whole world is evil. It's the fallen world, like just, you know. And basically, but then like for me, I'm like, this isn't their planet. This is not the fallen planet. I know Tara, I know Tiamat. I'm not looking to drop Earth next. You know, like there's this guardian warrior protector, like this is the final standoff kind of thing. And I'm not here to be of war. I'm here to be of service by ending a war. And that's actually what this 52 energy is talking about, being able to hold frequencies to. And so many of us holding that stillness frequency around the earth, a lot working with the mother energy, you know, is what's turning things around. We know the Dead Sea Scrolls says this. I remember discovering the Dead Sea Scrolls, Qumran War Scroll number 1. I heard in my mind, look up the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I found this one mystic, Jewish mystic guy. He was talking about Qumran War Scroll number 1, and it talked about the Essenes, which were an order of people 300 years before the Christ. There was no one man to worship. There was nothing like that. There were holy beings coming together with their resources and living amongst one another with the scribes and the, you know, whatever. Everybody has their role. Anyways, in that writing of Qumran War Scroll number 1, it said there would be a final battle of the light and the dark, led by basically the angels and the demons. And I get everyone could be like, there's no duality, but let's be real about what's happening on our planet right now. Oh, it's all an illusion, it's a simulation. Okay, but still energetically represented on the field right now in this game is that there is war, abduction, experimentation, depletion of resources, raping of souls and bodies, cannibalism. You know, you have to take it to a galactic level, though. This isn't just an Epstein file. This is like galactic history. And that's where over these past 7 years, I've been like, what is the actual justice system for that? Because they're all in on it. They're all in on it. All I know to do, once you have this awareness, is you just start talking about it and everything starts to weave and come together as we navigate this new time and space. Thank you for resonating. I'm happy you're here. I just connected with you again on this account. You know, we hadn't been connected in a long time, but I went and I seen an old picture from my Alicia Young Hall account, and you had commented on there, and I was like, oh, we're not friends on this page, because I went without for a couple years. So I'm glad we're all coming back together, soul family from all over the world. I think you're covering the Spain area, and I saw that you were connected to Tuna Flash. I know he was called other names as well, but he came into my world named Tuna Flash with his white dragon staff and the 144 seals, and he and I had our little combats on one level, but I knew we were working big time before River was born on rewriting monetary systems. We were in a new world of reality. There were like a group of us just kind of working with this, and it all had to do with the opening of Stargate 17. I'm just going to tell that story actually for, you know, I come to Costa Rica, I meet Eduardo, everything starts getting galactic from that point on. Eventually, my children go back to the US because of the COVID thing. I found out I'm pregnant with River. And yeah, as soon as River came into the picture, I found out like April 28, 2020, it was just right in the middle of it all. I started receiving the impulse or the interest in more galactic information. And I was looking at stuff that the work of Jose Arguelles, who was a part of this dream spell. At the time I was feeling the energies of Terence McKenna and Jose Arguelles. They were really in my field of awareness and just time and psychedelics and morphogenetic fields, how these realities work, everything. So Morphogenetic fields. Why was I telling you about Jose Reyes? I don't remember. I was going to tell you about Jose Reyes. But I'm jumping to this next part that has to do with Huna Flash. Huna Flash comes into my reality. Maybe, yeah, River is born. So she's born January 2021. He comes into the reality right kind of around there. It was like a lot of things started happening. All these people were coming together, and it was like we understood we were working on something on a telepathic level, almost like Sense 8. Yeah. It was a team working with financial systems, working with calendars, but it was all more telepathic. But anyways, the point is Huna Flash was going to go to Peru and activate Stargate 17. On the day he did that, my friend had come the night before to give me my placenta of River, because we had River unexpectedly, but we had River in a private hospital here in Costa Rica, and we were able to keep the placenta, but then somehow it ended up at my birth. What do you call them? One of those people that helps you with having your baby. She had the placenta in a cooler in her house, then in the freezer. So I didn't receive it until maybe, I don't know, 3 weeks or a month later. But the point is, when I did receive it, because she lived far from me, when I did receive it, it was on the day that Huna Flash was doing the Stargate 17 activation. And we had already planned on going to the Holy Mother River to do an activation of our own and just kind of connect with this mission. And then the placenta comes, so we plant the tree of life on this very particular day. We ended up doing a call with Huna Flash. That's one of the only times I really did connect with him. And then right after I heard the news that he had ascended, I found a video of his, and it led me to Stargate 22. He was in London, and he was doing something with Stargate 22, and it had to do with the monetary systems as well. But there was one time we'd worked on the monetary system or whatever we were doing in our minds. And then I remember at the time I still operated heavy machinery, which AKA drove a SUV. And I go to the bank back when I even had a bank card. I don't have a card. I don't have a bank anywhere. It's like I disappeared. But anyways, I go to the ATM, and the ATM is not there. Like, they took it out of the ground because they were replacing it with a new ATM. And I just psychically was like, oh, wow, we're replacing the old money system. And yeah, I've never known. Anyways, I went and I got some money out, and they were all like brand new 20 mils. In Costa Rica, they're called colones, like colonization. But they have hummingbirds on them, or this particular one, the 20 had a hummingbird, and a 20 mil is like $40 US, kind of, but they're really playing with the dollar right now, and they take its value here. So their plan is to like build Costa Rica into this luxury high-end. Oh, okay. That is not a policia, that is a Merkaba light body ascension house. Just bringing our policia in. This is like a little Rosetta Stone. Be gentle with me, River.
Yeah.
Be gentle with me.
Yeah, police now.
I'm a police. I am a galactic commander, and I stand for justice, truth, and righteousness.
Hey, how are you? Good. Hold on.
How's it going?
Wonderful. Just hanging out outside, enjoying the transmission.
Oh, beautiful. Just having fun over here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share a little bit of energy, a little bit of codes with everyone. You guys are open. Little nature, little sun.
This is in Ohio. He's straight up the line from, we're both on the 84 west degree longitude.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're really bringing something from the center to the north. It's like, yeah, the dove.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. What an amazing piece of mineral. No, really, though. Can you show us that stone again?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I don't know what, I mean, it's kind of jadish, but not, and I'd like to, I don't know exactly which one it is, but the work is beautiful. And then this is the other side. Andre gave me this too.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's big. It's a good one. This is my Master Atlantis. I always work with that.
So I felt called out here in Mother Nature. I got a little bit of the white sage for us. If you guys would like to connect with that. And I was guided to my selenite knife. And I just wanted to bless everyone and just draw in a little transmission of just any clearing and just drawing away of any unpurifications, of any attachments, any addictive energies that we may want to release and let go of in our current alchemy. And then I also have the third eye chakra, the ajna, singing bowl for us as well. So I was just gonna kind of just be a still vessel and draw in a transmission for us and allow some frequencies and selenite releasing and clearing energies to flow for just a moment as we really just hone in and draw in on the teachings and the reminders today. And also, if we would like to just put any type of prayer or any type of interdimensional connection that you would like for a loved one or for another soul. So let's go ahead and take a moment and just allow our stillness to be present. And just take a few breaths. Bring it all to center. And just allow that deep purification at the core to flow and bless your inner being. taking some breaths and embracing unconditional love. Just letting go of the confusion, letting go of the grudges, letting go of the pain and the false identifications. Just letting it all fall away on its own with the breath. And taking a few more breaths and just embracing the mother, and embracing the father. And may we just remember what we do with our free will, what we do with our focus, and be truthful to ourselves if we are feeding the right programming that we wish to see in this world. Being mindful of our actions, being mindful of what we tolerate, and being mindful of our empowerment. And happy Earth Day to our brother Eduardo over there.
He said he's cooking rice right now, but in one moment he wants to tell us something.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Earth
thanks.
Day.
That's a really good integration that you just brought. I need that.
Yeah, beautiful integration. I got it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just felt called. I was like, yeah, let's bring a little energy, like a little energy grounding into this, and bring a little shamanic assistance. I always love to bring in nice, short guided practices. It's really nice. You never know how much it can reset and just really allow you to shed some things that you might hold on to.
It's so big. I felt the big size, the big, like even this yawn right now, like just moving on up.
Moving on up, moving on up. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and, bringing these things to the surface for us, because it's our collective shadow. We can't look away from this stuff at this point. I mean, holy smokes, it's in every facet of our face.
Yeah. And it's like, how do we get down into the nitty gritty of this reality and not just look at it like shun that shadow away, but be like, oh shit, this is what's going on our planet right now. This is what's going on with our children. That's what's going on, on all levels. And so you have to find that balance, right, of being an informer, so to speak, or a messenger, but like not in a way where, I know it can be hard sometimes as we've awakened to the truth and we understand what's really going on. Like there can't be any bitterness in the awareness of that, because it takes the power away. There has to be more of a warrior stance of like, what are we going to do? How do we come together? And we're just in the very beginning stages of turning a ship around. So all I know to do is to just start to express my direct experience, talk about it. We're working with consciousness in new ways. We're on the front lines of this consciousness, and but synergy and I can't get over what's going on with the DMT information that's coming out. There are some people and I know everyone's going to be like, but you don't need medicine and you don't need substances. And like, I totally see that level.
You say, no.
I told her that. It's true. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. You know, the other thing too is like, with where we are now, you know, I know a lot of this stuff is like being put in our faces, and a lot of it's in the light, so to say now. But that's actually a sign of progress, believe it or not, for people out there. I mean, as much of that sounds like crazy or weird, that's a sign of progress because it's no longer being hidden from our public world. And when it's no longer being hidden by the public world, that means it's the great revealing. It's the revealing on the collective scale that there is no going back. There is no turning an eye. There is no, this is hidden anymore. You know, it's all fact in one way or another, that there is a chain of command. There's a chain of beings. There's a chain of energy forces that are part of this polarity world and game that we're in. And they are a part of this cabalish network of energy that is taking place on the planetary grid. And that is no denial one way or another. Whether it's specific characters that are involved or not involved, it's honestly besides the point when it comes to the specific characters. It's about the energy of it. It's the mainframe. It's the network of all of it, and that it's all collapsing. And that through the exposure of it, that is giving us the opportunity on a collective level to now become consciously aware. And when we become consciously aware, that's when alchemy starts taking place in an accelerated level, because now instead of being unconscious of the energies, we are now conscious of the energies. And then through the conscious awareness, we're able to make more clear choices for ourselves and what it is that we want and don't want moving forward with our free will as a collective here. So it is definitely a process as we go through these different dimensional layers. But from what I've seen and what I tap into, it's speeding up and we're moving into a higher dimensional body. And as we continue, there is no turning back. And that's so funny I say no turning back, because that is kind of like, that's the title that came through for me in our galactic report that comes out tomorrow. And it's in between eclipses, no turning back now. You know, we're in the in between of eclipses as well. We just had Lionsgate. We just had a ton of activity in the last month. And whether you believe in like astrology, gene keys, wave spell, it's all been showing that we're going through what is either the beginning of a new galactic year, we're moving into the Egyptian New Year, or we've already moved into it just recently. And then we had all these major alignments take place with the node switch and the Leo activity. So for me, it's like, yeah, there's a lot going on, whether you're looking at it on a spiritual context, political, physical, geographical, because geographical is also changing too. You know, it's all happening, but you know, the creator is always going to be asking inside of you, what are you going to do about it though? What are you going to do? Like, what are you doing is a good question, actually. Not what are you going to do, but what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Are you just fixating on all of it? Or are you living your best life with your heart open, trying to help others be able to live a quality of free will life here, because it's free will, and a lot of people don't even know it's free will. And to me, that's a little saddening. And I'm grateful that we're here to be able to assist and support. And yeah, wow, the channel's opening.
It's beautiful, and it's free will, right? The problem is we need to create new games for people to freely will themselves into, right? And it starts with us living them, finding paths out of and into new ways of thinking and looking and feeling, and then it opens up gates. It opens up gates in the pathways, because we just that long ago didn't know what was going on. It was all hidden. It was always happening. Even I was saying the other day, someone was talking about the 15-minute cities, and I was like, they're already here. They've been here the whole time. Digital ID, it's already been here the whole time. Crop dust circles or whatever in the sky, they've been here actually the whole time. I was looking at a picture in the 70s, and it had like things across the sky, and I was like, oh, interesting. It's like it was always there, but you never knew it. And then it's just, so we're really co-creators and architects of our reality. And it doesn't, you know what, you don't have to believe in gene keys or astrology or anything else. You probably then are believing in disease. And so we're moving into dimensions where we're talking about immortal, eternal life, self-healing, self-generating, creating from energy fields, quantum mechanics, ascension mechanics, 0-point technology, free energy technology, ether, crystalline. Yeah, they're
You say crystalline or crystalline?
Both. Yeah, once we open up these pathways, you choose freely if you want to look at them again or not. And then you do then start to identify any of the stories in your current reality that are keeping you from, entering again into these new dimensions. Once you know they're there, then you have to kind of go back and reevaluate the self and what you believe and what you're playing out, and like the dominant matrix you're playing in. We're just starting to bring words to how we navigate these realities. And is that like a helicopter type of thing? Or a truck? Oh, it's a truck.
I have something like that. I don't know if you
Oh, okay. I'm actually about to finish up and be with you.
I can't do it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, like a little. Thank you, babe. I got roosters growing over here, gene key 1 and 2. I have gene key 38 over here popped open as well, the way of perseverance. So perseverance is coming up. The dilemma is habits. The shadow is struggle. The gift is perseverance. The siddhi is honor. Security is a feeling in the cells, a sense of higher purpose. We don't have to know how to get there, but we have to begin. We have to break our habit. How do we do that? Break the habit of a lifetime? Well, it helps to be honest with ourselves first. Where are we unhappy? In our job, our relationship, our body? Where do we struggle? We can begin with self-honesty, because we can then put that struggle to better use to serve a higher purpose. Imagine if we could use the consistency of the things we struggle with on a daily basis for a higher purpose. Imagine something we've always wanted to be or do in our heart, and then put all our struggle into that. That's what will change our life. We have to break the habit and move it onto a higher plane. Many of us think or hope that we will one day transcend struggle, and that somehow when we reach the highest consciousness, the siddhi, there will be no more struggle. but we should be aware of the difference between cessation of struggle and the end of suffering. It is the suffering that we transcend, not struggle. We need struggle. Struggle defines us, sharpens us, hones us. It is a gift from the higher realms. Even the most illuminated beings struggle, but they do not suffer as they struggle. Struggle is their joy because they know it is testing them, polishing them, and refining their awareness. Begin then by accepting this plane as a place of testing and education. The earth is a school, and we are here to learn. Rest will come later when we have earned it. In the meantime, let's use the struggle to raise our awareness, to elevate our frequency, and to bring us ever closer to the gift and the Siddhi. That's a little bit of the 38th key and the shadow of the warrior of light. And I always say the warrior of light unlocks serious liberation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's super fun. I'll read from this book the next time. Maybe it's the one that's a little more simplified, less genetic. It's more Richard Rudd's like personal explanation. Wow, very nice.
Oh, what was that last sentence you said?
In the meantime, let's use the struggle to raise our awareness, to elevate our frequency, and to bring us ever closer to the gift in the Siddhi. Yeah, it's the way of the habit. So when we have that habit of like getting stuck in the same ways of thinking and habits,
I want to admit to something here. I've been trying to come over a habit of, this is like, I feel like it relates to so many of us too, but I've been overcoming like a habit of mentally projecting and mentally believing that the state of the world can still not completely change, including the structure of the system and everything. And that's been something I've been just overcoming and integrating back into wholeness for myself, is like just holding on to that limitation that, we couldn't actually have like what can maybe feel like a similar type of system, but completely like flipped and inverted in a way to where it's for the improvement of society and others. So yeah, I've just been like, I don't know, I felt called to share that because I feel like it's probably a very relative thought form for a lot of us, especially those of us that have been so embedded in the rabbit hole and like have known for years about the system and all the corruption and stuff like that. It can be a little difficult to think that this actually may dissipate at some point. This may actually shift, and this may actually turn into a world where we can be all safe together and we can actually embody it here. And it can happen in this lifetime too. And it can happen at a pace of miracle if we just allow ourselves to be in the embodiment of that. Ooh, that felt good to share.
When your heart leaps with joy, we must move beyond this idea. And that's like even saying that we're going to stay broken, that we can't make it, that we can't become whole, that we can't. It's like, that's rule number one of this flight club as a time traveler, is like stepping out of constructs of old, dense times and beliefs and realities. I'm really like, it's just written anyways. It's written in the code. All we have to let go of are those last plays. those last ideas that can't work, it can't happen. Like the full bliss, the full belief, innocence of the child, faith, like, yeah, it's from us agreeing in this very moment that we know we turn this whole ship around. And that's really how morphogenetic fields work. That's how timeline creation works. That's how quantum realities work. This is real. This is how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the more and more I just like realize that and embody that, it's like I just wake up and I'm just automatically inspired. I'm inspired to co-create. I'm inspired to bring what feels like new life to others and help people get reminded that it's already innately them. And that is so beautiful. You know, that's that baptism right there, when your consciousness is no longer thinking about just only yourself, thinking about your worries or thinking about lack and scarcity. It's amazing. It truly is. It's really beyond words and ways. Because I'm still today living in a life where in the public eye, you would say, I'm financially broke. But yet, every single day I wake up and I feel innately inspired and full of so much joy just to live and create with what I have in the ways that I can and do it with others. And it's completely changed my life. Completely changed my life. Living with such inspiration and open-heartedness without worrying or focusing on the world as a destination. And that is how the universe is so beautiful, because I was going to say something about destinations, then I forgot, and then I said all that and it brought me to destinations. Wow. But the thing I want to sum it all up with is be mindful of destinations. That's one thing that these implants and these false programmings kind of program into us, is the belief that everything is such a destination here in this density, and there's nothing more than the physicality. And what I mean is, you know, when they start saying like, oh, you know, you did this, or this happened, or, you know, you're experiencing a trauma, or you're experiencing pain, remember that it's not a destination. It is not a destination that you have to just continue and will always be limited to that pain, that trauma, that limitation of yourself or your gender. It's not a destination. It's not a destination how you believe in yourself. You know, it's not a destination with the type of career that you have or the type of service that you do. And you're always free to change. You're always free to grow. You're always free to alchemize. And I love you all. Grateful for this space. Ooh.
Always free to change. That's death and transformation. Oh, wow.
That rainbow is beaming in that crystal right now.
Oh.
Motivating the people to make art. It's important.
Oh, and why do I want you all to make art?
Motivating the people, the friends, to be inspired to express their imagination.
Express your imagination.
If people is not so connected with this, yes, one powerful pathway.
Yeah.
You liberate stress and program and recognize your true nature and feeling enjoyed and inspired. enjoying it, excited, and innocent.
Yeah, everything goes away in the art creation process, actually. Eduardo has studied many forms of art and histories in his university times, and he said it was the art, it's not about the final product, it's about the process of it. It's not about if somebody saw it, if somebody bought it, if somebody, if you made $1 million on it. It's about the unfolding of yourself in the activity of creation. And it's like we're either being used for someone else's creation, or we're the creation. We're the creator, we're the navigator. And that's where we're at right now. Is really coming in to harness that and to navigate the big shifts that are happening on the planet right now with technology. Getting to the heart center and doing things for a higher purpose beyond your lower nature to serve something more collective. It's real.
Man. Ooh-wee. It's rolling out. It starts in those micro moments, guys. It starts in those micro moments with yourself. Are you acting out of the anger that you feel? Are you saying things, out of those lower emotions and acting out of them when they arise? Or are you allowing them to be your teacher and being a student to them and allowing them to process and alchemize, integrate, and become a even more, if you want to say more developed human being? And again, just that reminder, there's so much going on in the world. And there honestly probably always will be so much going on in the world. It's a lot of traffic here on this planet. And what I mean by always going on is just activity, exchange, energy. But again, what are you doing? And what are you going to do? And what's your intentions in this world? Do you want to make it an easier life for the children? Do you want to help people see how they can use things in more healthier ways or more conscious ways? There's a lot of us here that have this innate calling, and it's like what feels like an innate mission. And there's like different signatures or different resonances of what type of tool you can use to help reach others that relate to that tool as well. And I feel like and trust that we're all coming more into that deeper awareness of how we can use these different tools here and use them in conscious ways and show others how to do so as well. And the tools are all sorts. The inner tools and the outer tools. And one thing I definitely love to talk about is the crystal tools. And that's always a fun discussion, talking about the crystal technologies and utilizing the crystals with free energy and copper as well. There's so much to learn that just brings us back to the basics. And the basics are always the most efficient. and the most quickly effective ways of bringing that wholeness to ourselves, to our being. Phew. All right, sister, I'm gonna hop off. Thank you for having me on, and I really appreciate the space, and one love to everyone else out there.
Thanks for coming in. I'm closing it up anyways. I'm gonna spend some time with my lion on his birthday. We might have a visitor coming by, and so it's been great to spend some time flying through the ethers with you and synthesizing with our family, with our star family. Marcus is the Luna Dragon. Your little paper. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say goodbye. Do you want to say goodbye? Okay, you can do it. We'll see y'all the next time. Please reach out if you want to do any one-on-one stuff. I do everything by cosmic donation. If you ever want to contribute to our family and our basic needs, we appreciate and welcome all donations. We don't always have a way to receive them, but we have a friend helping us for a short time. So everything is appreciated. And yeah, let's keep rolling. Let's keep unfolding the scrolls of the truth and the light together with our families. Much love to everyone. Thanks for being here. Back to the basics, 3, 2, 1. Back to the basics, 3, 2, 1. 0 point, 0 point, 0 point.
Imagine booking a soul session, ordering crystals, and joining a live retreat from your phone. For too long, finding the right healers, the right products, the right community has meant endless searching across scattered corners of the internet. That changes now. The Sacred Kingdom has arrived, an online hub where a worldwide directory of holistic practitioners, readers, life guides, organic makers, musicians, a crystal shop, books, and more are all waiting for you. Book one-on-one sessions, order products, and discover Kingdom members serving locally in your area, all from your fingertips, wherever you are, whenever you're ready. Stay connected to upcoming events and retreats, both online and in person. Tap into a YouTube channel built for real conversation, hands-on holistic learning, and free giveaways. And there's more coming: courses, programs, a holistic recipe book, and the Sacred Kingdom Mystery School Academy mentorship. This is a space built on love, compassion, and the belief that conscious living should be accessible to all walks of life. Visit thesacredkingdom.com, and if you feel called to build from within, email Marcus Crystallite at marcustut23@gmail.com about joining the Kingdom Council. The Kingdom is open.